Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and welcome to another casual vlog. Although to be honest, one of my vlogs is not casual. I have all these fun ideas for like different theme videos. For some reason I really want to read about demons. And I also want to read about like people with really cool jobs, like exploring jobs or like research oriented jobs. I don't know why, that's like really calling to me right now. But then at the same time, I don't want to read a bunch of things that sort of feel the same. So we're going back to the bread and butter, aka mood reading. I both love and hate mood reading. I love the idea of being impulsively like, ooh, I want to read that right now. But also, I hate that there's no structure to it. So whatever, we're gonna do it anyway. But we're actually kicking this vlog off with a little shopping trip, a little book shopping trip. But also I'll probably buy other shit too. So we're in for it. I haven't been book shopping in person for a while. I don't have anything in mind I want to get. Maybe I'll just shop impulsively again like I love to do. I got my tax return money, so you know that's burning a hole in my pocket. Even though I should be going to the dentist, we're not gonna talk about that. All right, we're back from our shopping adventure. Of course, I have to show you what we got. At first, I was like, oh my God, why is nothing jumping out at me? Why don't I feel like getting anything? And then I went to the fantasy section and I went kind of crazy. I got the Poppy War. I've heard so much about this over the years. I hear it's really sad, but also I was thinking about doing a vlog where I would use like fantasy books to like inspire myself to actually start exercising. And I Googled it and a lot of people on Reddit said that this was like a book that made them want to like get stronger. So I don't know. I thought that would be kind of fun. I don't know too much about the specifics here. I know it's a fantasy world. I think it's like historical fantasy, if this outfit is any indication. Ooh, there's an elite military school. Oh, and there's like gods. Ooh, gods and demons. I'm so obsessed with them right now. And then this one kind of looks similar. I got The Martian. I actually just got this from the library, but based on all the reviews I was looking at it, I think it's going to be one that I want to highlight and save and maybe reread. Smells great. This is one of the books I wanted to do for a possible vlog where like people have very interesting careers. Because I think he ends up getting trapped on Mars. Am I making shit up? Yeah, he gets stranded on Mars' surface and I think he's like researching it to literally survive, how to like survive. Sorry, my brain is a little foggy right now. I ate a little bit of gluten and I'm scared. But yeah, the hype is real, so I'm gonna try to lower my expectations. Oh, first sentence, it's pretty much fucked. Or I'm pretty much fucked. I can't even read. Gluten. I have had the library hold for this book out for months and months. And so I saw it at the store. I was like, just give it to me. All of the blurbs are amazing. And it's not very vague blurbs. Sometimes an author will blurb a book. I can't speak. And they'll be like, wow, so-and-so is so creative. Or they'll say, an interesting read. Or they'll compliment the author. Like, she has a voice unlike any other. That could be an insult. But these are like Audacious and Supremely Satisfying by Leigh Bardugo. Brilliant by Holly Black. Alex E. Harrow says, the huge-hearted and whip-smart meta-fantasy of my dreams. I think this is a book about a woman who goes into her favorite fantasy world, but it turns out she's the villain. And I don't know if she like continues to be the villain or maybe she'll overthrow things from within. It just sounds sassy and like the book cover is giving sass. Now these two books I really didn't need to buy because I have the e-arcs for them, but look how beautiful this is, and I'm really hoping this is like a new favorite cozy fantasy. It's a tale of fae, folklore, and found family that's just as delightful and warm-hearted as the charismatic lake-dwelling monster who tells it. A monster main character? Yes, please. And then Flux. I've seen differing opinions on this one. I was grabbed? The cover just stunned me when I saw it on NetGalley. It's quite striking. It sort of makes me wonder what it's about. It's a dazzling, time-bending neo-noir about a young Korean-American man whose reality unravels when he suspects that the mysterious corporation he works for may have inadvertently discovered time travel. I love reading about time travel, especially if there's a romance in it. I don't know for sure if that's happening here, but one can hope. And then finally, we have Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's a hard one for me to say. I've been hearing so many fun things about this, and also Grant. About 13 times in the store, he said, that's my book, by the way. Like he's trying to claim it as I'm picking it out and searching for it and bought it. Well, actually, he bought it for me. So technically it is yours, babe.
I know. I told you that 13 times.
The second we got in the house, before he washed his hands, before he went to the bathroom, he took this out of the bag and tried to sneak it on a shelf.
Good, after we washed our hands.
Nope, you're a dirty little whore. Let's read the first sentence. So technically it's going to be mine because I read it first, right? Oh, there's a little cat. The transformation occurred at approximately 2:23 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Boring. JK. But, ooh, that's cool. Babe, I discovered a secret about your book. I used quotation marks there. It's my book. And then I'll show you what Grant got. I'm not gonna like read the synopses. And you got these specifically because they're heist or?
They're like rogue or heist fantasy? Yeah.
He was interested in reading more about like rogues and heist fantasy, so he found The Black Tongue Thief. This cover is actually really cool. The Way of Shadows, a bloody little sword there, dagger. I don't know what that is. And The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. That name sounds familiar. Also, I think I asked for this arc and I didn't get approved. So if
tell me about the 6 of Crows I got.
Oh, he went to go grab 6 of Crows, and I was like, babe, it's been on my shelf for like 3 years. So now he's trying to claim that one. The gall, I tell you. So let me know if you've read any of these. And I'm wondering if I should start one of these today. But before I get there, let me tell you what else I got at the mall. You can skip ahead if you don't care. I think the greatest thing about being an adult is spending money on nicely scented hand soaps. Especially if it's fuzzy soap. What's that soap called? Foamy. Bath & Body Works was having a sale, buy 3 get 3 free. We of course got our tried and true mahogany teakwood, but all the others we're trying for the first time. We have Crisp Morning Air. Actually, we might have had this. I think this one's like almost apple pear scented. Fresh pine, juniper, and juicy pear. I've heard some people slander on pears lately. Can you use slander like that in a sentence? I love pears. Pears are so delicious. Crisp, but like chill. Ooh, a chilled pear. Sea and sandstone. Oh, that smells lovely. I can't tell you what it smells like. It smells like vacation at the beach, but not tropical, more like coastal. Does that make sense? We got Marine Waves and Citrus. Then we got Santorini Coast. Oh god, I got it everywhere. It kind of smells like that generic almond scented pink hand soap in like the gas station, but like fancier. And then finally, Dragon Fruit and Palm Leaves. Ooh, you know what this smells like? It kind of smells like my L'Oreal shampoo. And then I got some lip gloss. I love their lip gloss. It's like mentha lip gloss. It's got like a minty kind of like buzzy feeling on your lips, but not like a lip plumper where it stings. And also it makes me feel like I'm in 7th grade, but in a good way. I don't know. And then I did go into Sephora. I just went in to get more of the NARS Creamy Concealer, but because I'm going through this so fast because I still have acne as a 31-year-old, I'm almost 31. Birthday's next month, OMG. I decided maybe just to try out foundation. Every time I've tried foundation, I just hate the way it looks on my face. I don't feel like I need it all over, but maybe this will last longer because it's a larger tube. So I'm gonna try it out, and I thought maybe it always like looks cakey and gross because I always get like Wet n Wild, or like I try to go really cheap. So maybe if I spend a little bit more money, it'll look nicer, because that's what happened with concealer. I was always using like shitty, cheap as I can get concealer, and then I tried this shit. It's like 30 bucks for this, but it's worth it. And so maybe this will look better. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna be using it because I spent a shitload for this. And then I got little trial sizes of the Say. I feel like I've always seen people use this on TikTok, but it's like a illumination. And I do sometimes see people mix that with their foundation to make it a little bit more glowy. I do like a glowy look. I got the light one, Star Glow, and then a pinkier one, Rosy Glow. Rose Glow? Rose Glow. And then I went in, and usually I just try looking at shit for myself, but this really nice lady came up to me and she's like, do you need any help? And I was like, let's just ask. OMG, ask for help. Who would have thought? I said, I'm looking for an oil cleanser. Her face lit up and she's like, let me show you my favorite. First of all, I love when passionate people work in the fields that they're like knowledgeable in. So shout out to Jacqueline. And she showed me this Caudalie makeup removing cleansing oil. She says it's her absolute favorite. And right next to it was one that was like $20 more. So I really believed her. And I was like, you know what, Jacqueline, I'm gonna trust you with my life here. I'm being so dramatic. So I'm gonna try this out. We'll see how it goes. And then right when I was getting home, I'm so excited for this. This showed up. I have like 2 fans running right now, and it's just early May. It's already like 80 degrees in the house. So I bought like a actual portable like $300 AC unit where I have to like put a vent out the window. That's coming probably by the end of the month. But I saw this kind of cheaper one. You put ice in it, ice water, and it like blows out without electrocuting you. Oh my god. So we're gonna try it out. I just turned the ice maker on. I am so excited. Even if this will help just for the last couple hours of work when it gets like really hot in here, including right now, it's getting a little hot. I'm so excited. And even if it doesn't really work very well, I mean, I just could have used another fan. It's really no big deal. So yeah, those are all the things I've spent some tax money on. And I kind of want to read this. Ooh, I'm clearly in a fantasy mood, but this one has sass. I just think it might be this.
I don't know what to say.
Feels like a fan. right, it's the next day. I did read the first chapter of this book. Also, I'm running my new little fan. It's not quite as crispy as I had hoped and dreamed, but it's just like ice water. So Allie, what were you thinking? It's funny because it actually does feel pretty good, but the fan itself is kind of not as good as just the regular fans that I have lying around. But like sitting in here, blinds open, so the sun's coming in, but the windows closed, the doors closed. It's usually really hot when I do clips in here. It feels pretty good. Anyway, I did read the first chapter of this book. It was way more sad than I thought it was going to be. Basically, our main character has cancer and she's about to die. She has a very deep bond with her sister and they bond over this fantasy series. And it seems to be very bloody and like everyone dies. You know, she doesn't really want to read the last book because she's about to die. And so her and her sister have this fight. And then at the end of the chapter, this mysterious woman comes in, pushes her into this portal, and she's transferred into this fantasy universe. And as the back says, she is the villainess. I'm obviously going to be finishing this at some point, hopefully very soon, but that first chapter, there was a lot of info dump, and I guess they had to have it in there. They had to give us a reference point as to like the villain and some of the characters in this fantasy series, but it felt very obvious and like, ooh. And then the fight between the sisters, even though yes, I think they could have made it seem a little bit more genuine, it was just so fast forwarded and it seems weird. I don't know. It seems very, what am I saying? It just seems a little bit contrived. Like the author's trying very hard to get us to a certain point and a certain mood. But that actually gives me hope for the rest of the book because sometimes I struggle with the beginning, especially if a author has a particular point they want to get to. It feels like the beginning is really rushed because they're just trying to scramble over themselves to get there, but make it make sense. And then once we actually get there, it flows a lot more naturally. That's what I'm hoping happens. It was interesting, first of all. It's always funny to me when an author puts their entire headshot on the front cover in color. I don't know, I just thought that was funny. But it turns out that this author survived stage 4 cancer. So then that made me want to connect even more with the story, which is maybe why she put it in the front, because quite clearly this was inspired by her real life, I'm sure. So yeah, I am intrigued, but that first chapter really didn't hold my interest enough for the sake of this video, which is trying to follow my mood, which now I'm happy I chose like a mood reading vlog because not in the mood right now. So then I picked up Green Teeth and within the first page or two, I was giggling. I was like, oh shit, yes. Actually, it was the first paragraph. This is the first paragraph of the book. Are you ready? The witch looked surprised to see me, her eyes blinking furiously at me through murky waters. I don't know why she was so astonished. It was my lake she'd been thrown into. She should have expected I'd come and see if there was anyone worth eating. This is through the point of view of a little lake monster. She's a Jenny Green Teeth. That's her name, but it's also her creature title. It's like her species are Jennies. She is a Jenny, but she is also Jenny. Jenny by name and Jenny by nature is what my mother said we are. Silly old bat that she was. Not an actual bat though. I should make that clear. I love how playful Jenny is being with us, and she is cringily, usually I find it cringy in that first couple of pages, talking directly to us. Like, I'm sure your mother told you about the likes of us, blah, 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 blah. Usually I hate that kind of thing if they don't make it clear why she's speaking directly to me. I don't give a shit. And it did stop. Usually that also bugs me. I also don't give a shit. And even if it isn't like revealed in the last chapter that she's actually written this all down for us, I don't care. I can suspend my disbelief. I never know if I'm saying that sentence correctly. Is it suspending my belief or suspending my disbelief? I'm stopping my disbelief. Okay, it's disbelief. So annoying sometimes to myself. Suspending belief would make sense too though. I'm gonna move on. So yeah, I've read 80 pages now and I am in love right now. This is very cozy, but it's also very like woodsy kind of magical flavor, which is something I've really been craving. And all 80 pages of this have taken place in Jenny's lake or her cave. And so it just feels so otherworldly. I've never read anything set in a lake. And I love how cute she loves her lake, she loves her cave, and she takes great pride in it. She's lived there for millennia. I don't even know how long. She doesn't even know how long. And she's just so cute about how tidy she is. It kind of reminds me of how much I love Wendell and the Emily Wilde series about how cozy he is. Listen to Jenny talk about her cave. I don't like to brag, but my cave is very cozy. And then she tells us all about it. I like to keep the lake looking neat and tidy. I just fucking love it. So the setup of this story is that Jenny is just living her best life in this lake, taking care of it, eating eating the fish, eating the kittens that are dumped in there every now and then. Oh God. And then one day there's like a crowd of people and she hears this big splash and she looks down and it's just a lady at the bottom of the lake and she's tied up with like iron. Jenny can tell that this woman is a witch because she's using a little bit of magic to create like a little bubble to try to breathe. And as soon as the lady, the witch, sees Jenny, she freaks out and she loses all of her air. And Jenny is just so funny. She's like, I wasn't entirely sure what to make of her being here, but I did know that a Jenny always leads with her teeth. I opened my mouth wide and gave her my best smile. And then the witch almost literally pissed herself because these are her teeth. She has like needle teeth. So she's like questioning why the witch is there. She assumes that the witch put herself in there because why else would this be happening? She's like, it didn't make any sense to me, but witches are a strange breed, even for humans. Then she kind of puts together that these people threw her in. So she says, well then, did that mean I should eat her? I didn't relish the thought. I hadn't eaten a whole adult human in a very long time, and I'd never eaten a witch before. I wonder if they tasted different. It was probably bad luck to eat one. Adult humans were pretty gamey. Not really to my taste. So then, as the witch is literally dying, Jenny scoops her up and she takes her to her cave. After the initial shock and fear, they help each other out and they become pretty friendly to each other. And I wasn't really sure where the story was gonna go because pretty quickly it seemed like the witch was going off. But then they find out there's a greater magical evil in this town, and so now at 80 pages they're about to go on a quest, which I'm very excited for but a little nervous for because I think my glee in this magic and this character and her home and the dwelling and the setting is really based on the fact that this setting is so cool. I've never really read anything like it, and I'm kind of wondering how it's gonna be with Jenny from the lake just walking around because she walks easier on her hands and legs if she's on like the earth's surface and not in water. So I'm just like picturing the Wizard of Oz except for like the scarecrow is walking around like this. So I don't know, it's gonna be an interesting time. Right now I'm enjoying just the slow pace but also the very coziness of it. How the humor is just slightly witty and it's really banking on the fact that Jenny is not quite human, but she has observed them for years and years, and that's where the humor is just killing me, like in the best way. But then she also has so much insight as this creature who's been around for so long, but also as a not evil, but also could be seen as bad by other people. The witch says that, well, you're good, and Jenny is kind of like thrown off by that. She thinks that certainly wasn't the lesson I wanted her to learn from our collaboration. I might not have eaten her, but I certainly wasn't good. I wasn't bad either, I simply was. She goes on to say, what's bad for prey might not be good for predator. My pike, which is this giant ass fish that's like her pet, my pike eats the frogs, but they're not bad. And I think that's such a good point, and I love reading about like other creatures, especially if they're not completely evil in books. It's why I love certain vampire books over others. And also she is kind of vampiric, which is maybe why I'm bonding with her. I don't know. I'm just loving the tone of this. The writing is just so fun but sweet, but also like I love a character who's not good or bad. They're just, you know, surviving, but also they seem very peaceful. But there's also room for them to explore more and like have friends. It does remind me a tiny bit of Someone You Can Build a Nest In. I don't know that this is going to be romantic in any way. Like the witch is happily married, although her husband may or may not be under a curse right now. So hey, there's room. There's room for romance here. But I think the sort of humor is similar because Shisha Shen wasn't quite human, but she kind of knew how to pretend to be. It's very upfront here that Jenny is not human, but the humor again is similar. I feel like I've just talked a lot, but I'm so excited because I really love the taste of this. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I do kind of have the Sunday scaries though, so I don't know if I'm gonna put off reading for the rest of the day, which would just be a waste of my time. I have been loving doing my own nails at home. I've been doing them for probably a year. I think I've talked to you about it before, and it's definitely time for a new set, as they say. While I was gone, I did a couple of sets that were like way over the top. I'm not even gonna show you because they weren't very good, but it was so fun to experiment with like 3D nails. This like gel stuff I put on them and I made little shapes. Oh my god, it was so fun. And I have been growing my nails out, as you can see, but I think it's time to cut them. It's so much easier to type at work with short nails. RIP to my talents. That being said, it takes fucking forever to do my nails, so I might have to grab the audiobook. I'm hoping it's just as good as the voice I've created in my head. We'll see. Guys, I haven't even sweat yet. Okay, I love this little fan. All right, Grant finished this book, and I'm only halfway through mine. I just want to say that. What would you rate it? Be honest.
Maybe like a 3.5.
That's your lowest score yet. Are you gonna finish the duology?
No. I don't know. It was alright.
I might not put that in. I can't have the people hating you.
Yeah. Are you impressed? I read that whole book in 13 hours.
I am so impressed. Hey y'all, I'm looking a little rough. I'm feeling a little rough, but I only had to work 3.5 hours today because we are again running out of work, which is just perfect timing because I feel like crap. Last night we got Cheesecake Factory and they have like a gluten-free pasta option. I chose it. Judging by the pain I've been in for the past what time is it? 12 hours? I don't think it was gluten-free. I talked a little bit more about this in the last video, but yeah, I have to stop ordering from restaurants because even on Saturday, something similar happened, but I stopped before I ate too much, but I still was in pain and I felt some of my symptoms come up. But last night and this morning, it was like, it's not over. It's still not over. I've been in so much pain and I couldn't sleep. A benefit of that though, was that I woke up at 2 a.m. in such pain that I came out and I finished my book. So hey, it kind of worked out. And now if I get tired from only sleeping like 3.5 hours, I can take a little nap because work ended early. So it's all coming together. And I really like this book. I'm giving it 4 stars. Also, I did do my nails. Anyone who wants to do their nails at home, just know that this basic ass manicure took me over 4 hours to do. And honestly, I love that for myself because I get really obsessive of my hobbies, especially ones that I have to use my hands for. And I like going all in and really concentrating for a deep amount of time. It's so satisfying to me. But also I did get a little tired and I didn't put any like 3D art or chrome or anything on it. So maybe if I get bored of just this, but I kind of like it. The short round nails, they just remind me of like Skittles or something. They make me want to. It's crazy though because also you can fast forward if you don't care about nails. I use cat eye quite a bit, but the ones that I have in the past use, the glitter for the cat eye, the like shimmer is very like bright or light. It's very shimmery and very easy to tell just in like room lighting, outside lighting, flashlight lighting obviously. This one I hadn't used before and the shimmer is actually like a deep blue, so it's very hard to even tell that it's there unless like a flashlight's on it. So I was having to like jerry rig my legs to help me put this on, as you saw, and I thought it looked funny. So this was my POV in case you were curious how the magnet changes the glitter. Again, you can't even tell really. I can a little bit because I'm so close to it. It looks very cool. It's like holographic. I kind of like it. I wish I could redo this hand because I got like the technique down by the time I got to this one. Anyway, Green Teeth. This is a quest story through and through. It literally says quest on the back and they say it a bunch in here, and I think you should only go into this book if you like Emily Wilde. I'm gonna say that. There is no romance in here though, so don't get your hopes up. But the friendship, so good. So it's Jenny, Temperance the witch, and then their goblin friend, excuse me. I'm not getting choked up, but like I also am in my heart. And there's also a dog companion and they're going around trying to like complete these challenges to complete their quest and then go defeat the evil. And the ending, I was flipping through. Also, how perfect was it that it took me exactly 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. to finish this just before I had to get up and get ready for work. Perfect timing. I also would say only pick this up if you enjoy a slow paced book, which is why I say Emily Wilde, but I also say Emily Wilde because if you like the parts in this series where they go into the fairy realms and there's quite a bit of like weird shit that's hard to explain, like it's stuff that is not human, like things are happening in your mind, you can't tell like what's up, what's down, or what's real and what's not. If you enjoyed that part, it's in here a lot. I love that shit, but also it is kind of more challenging because it's harder to imagine. I'm very much much like a I make a movie in my head kind of reader. And sometimes it's hard to imagine when you get into this sort of fantasy because it's like confusing, and it's confusing to the characters, so it's written in a way that is confusing. So I both love it and am frustrated by it, but I think that's why I love it so much, because it is a little bit more challenging to try to like understand and picture. But yeah, the friendships were just amazing. I love Jenny. I love her so much. And I would honestly love for this to be a series, just different quests, but also I would be absolutely fine if it's just this by itself, because it was just so wonderful. And this definitely has a chance of like going up in rating. Right now it's honestly feeling like a 4.25 even as I'm talking about it, but like I will be rereading this for sure. Now, while I was doing my nails, I only listened to a couple chapters on the audiobook, and the audiobook was good, but it was so different than the voice that I created for Jenny in my head. Does anyone else do that? If you like start off just reading by yourself and you start liking how you're like narrating it, but it doesn't match up to the audiobook. So yeah, I had to put it down after just a couple chapters. But I think if I had started with the audiobook, I would have been absolutely fine. So if any of you had read this, please let me know all of your thoughts. Who was your favorite character? Mine is going to be... I just love Jenny. I'm sorry, she's that girl. I also really liked, I really can't shut up about this. I loved it. I also really liked that it shows that friendship can have a lot of different turns, and, you know, it's not just a easygoing kind of thing. So that was kind of fun to see in here as well, that I don't see in a lot of quest kind of stories. So yes, a very successful read. I'm so happy. And now though, I am craving a romance. I didn't get any in here. And so maybe I should double down and read a demon like dark romance. I don't know if that's the move. Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick. Not from the demon. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Honestly, Jenny was kind of a demon, and they did talk about other kind of creatures that could be demons in here, so I kind of like started a little frenzy in my head. But I saw this book at Barnes & Noble. Actually, I saw the second book at Barnes & Noble. They didn't have the first one, and it made me curious. It's like a demon romance. But I have heard that the series is really dark. So this is something I'd usually read on my own because I don't like people judging me for reading dark romance. And also sometimes it can be a little too dark for me, or I just don't like the writing style. So there are times when I DNF. And so like, I don't know. I kind of want to just commit to this. Let's see how long it is. 493 pages. It's kind of a lot. Let's read this. It's the kind of description where it's like the characters are speaking, which I do not enjoy. I just want a synopsis. Okay, this is the main character, Leon. I think he's the demon.
I've learned my reputation among magicians for a reason. One wrong move and you're dead. Killer, they called me, and killing is what I'm best at, except her.
Sorry.
The one I was supposed to take, the one I should have killed. I didn't. The cult that once controlled me wants her.
Cult?
And I'm not about to lose my new toy to them.
Yikes. See, this is the stuff I think you'll judge me for being intrigued by, but like, what does that mean? Now we're in the girl's point of view. Ray.
I've always believed in the supernatural. Hunting for ghosts is my passion, but summoning a demon was never part of the plan. Monsters are roaming the woods, and something ancient, something evil, is waking up and calling my name. I don't know who I can trust or how deep this darkness goes. All I know is my one shot at survival is the demon stalking me.
Like, why does that fill me with so much happiness? Fictionally. Demons, please don't come for me. I don't believe in demons, so don't worry.
And he doesn't just want my body, he wants my soul.
Like love, or does he actually want to like take her soul? I would be down with both, actually. Because like Jenny said, predators gotta eat. What's wrong with me? Okay, we're gonna try this. I'm gonna commit. Oh my god, my hair is crazy, but I'm gonna commit to halfway through this book. I will get halfway, and then I could put it down if I'm not enjoying it, or I can speed through the end if I'm absolutely having so much fun. All right, I have to go to the bathroom again. I'll see you later. All right, after a very long nap, I feel better, and I got to 18% of this book. And it's so funny because before this past chapter, chapter 8, I was like, oh, I don't know. Also, I realized that I have chocolate on my shirt, so I don't want to change. Like, who's chocolate hurting? Not you, not me. I like the setup. I love a fantasy, especially a fantasy romance where it's really set in the real world. The main character, or at least one of them, has no idea what the fuck is going on. There's just something about that. I think it just brings me back to middle school, and all those paranormal romances were that kind of fantasy, and there's something about it that just draws me in. But also, I kind of like how the writing is setting this up, creating this very normal life for this main character, Ray. So kudos to the author on that. But God, these two characters, I don't think I'm gonna like them. They're gonna very much annoy me unless they're having sex. I'm gonna be so honest. She's not so bad. She's kind of got an interesting passion for like ghost hunting. She has a YouTube channel, and my first highlight was I was still awake at nearly 2 a.m., lying in bed with my laptop open, trying to use my body's refusal to sleep as an opportunity to brainstorm new vlog ideas. That's me once a week. I get my best ideas in the middle of the night when I cannot sleep. But you're telling me this isn't Twilight fanfiction? You're lying. I looked it up because I do that for like every book I read. And a couple months ago I was right, and this was so good. First of all, on its own, but as a fanfiction it was so cool because what do you mean this is about soccer, but it's also a Twilight fanfiction? I loved it. This is like, maybe it's 50 Shades of Grey fanfiction, but that's Twilight fanfiction, so let's count it down here. We have a main character who used to live in a very sunny state, and now she's moved to like the Northwest, Washington, Seattle area. They keep mentioning how rainy it is. The vibes are there. She's also super fucking clumsy. Does that ring any bells? And then we do get his point of view, which I have things to say in a second. And I think he says something like, all of the kids at this university, he's pretending to be a security guard. He's actually a demon. And he's like, they were all wary at first. Primal instinct told them what their eyes did not. I was dangerous. I was a predator. I'm pretty sure Edward Cullen said the same exact fucking thing in Midnight Sun. And then he says how so many people have looked at him. I've had plenty of glances, plenty of longing looks. It was her gaze, her scent that was tempting me. Okay, so he only cares about her after only passing her by once. Anyway, I hope that's all the evidence you need because, like, judge, you're guilty and charged. And yes, that does make me want to read it. I'm sorry. Just like this was giving me all the Twilight fanfiction, but it's not really. It was just fun to try to see the parallels. Anyway, I'm probably making that up, but like, am I? This main dude, his name is Leon. He's part-time demon, part-time security guard, and he seems to be held captive by this very rich family who pretty much owns this university and like half of the town, and they make him security guard at this school because there was a murder there recently. And in his first chapter we find out that actually this family sacrificed this human for some demon god. And while that's all very interesting, I cannot stand how mean he was. Like, the first words out of his mouth were like, what the fuck do you think you're doing over here, or something like that. Like, sir, could you not, like, let's have some class and decorum. If they just made their bad boy main characters just a little bit more like mysterious and quiet and held back and like mean in those hot moments, you know what I mean? But like all other instances, they're sort of just like tall, dark, and mysterious. Mouth shut is what I mean. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, that would be so much hotter than, what the fuck are you doing over here? Like, he sounds like a little brat. And I'll give it to her. She thinks he's really hot, which, you know, I could understand having that reaction. And she won't, even though she's attracted to him, she finds him very annoying and rude and creepy. But also, she does want to do him. But I like that she's not instantly, like, you know, going off with him and doing stuff. She waits like 12 hours before she does that. So yeah, I was thinking maybe this just isn't the mood. I like the setup. I like some of the things that they said. I know the author was thinking like, ooh, this is gonna get them, and she was right. This is after she first sees Leon, the security guard, also giving Bella in the cafeteria and Anastasia in the little interview. In French, there's a phrase for the random urge to jump from high places, the irrational desire to swerve into traffic despite imminent destruction. L'appel du vide, the call of the void. When I looked at him, staring at me, the void called. Like, that shit worked on me. My little heart went like this. And see, if he was dark and mysterious, he could match that void, but instead he's just like this mean dude. We know he's a demon, and he seems to have some sort of demonic powers, including like when they're having their first encounter where he's telling her, what the fuck are you doing here? And she's being sassy back. He like uses his demon powers to like kind of like hold his sorry. This part is kind of hot, okay? I guess it's like a shadow or something. She can't see anything, but she kind of feels like something is grabbing onto her neck. And so he has the power to do all that. And when she walks away, he uses that power to trip her and make her fall. And then he laughs at her. And that's when I was like, maybe this isn't for me. Because what I love in one of these messy, toxic romances is when maybe he even does that as like a bully romance. Side note, I fucking love a bully romance, which is one of my most toxic traits. But see, in the versions that I like, either someone else does that to her or he even does it because he's dumb in the beginning, because like men, sorry, but he doesn't laugh. Like maybe he does on the outside, but on the inside, he's like clenching his jaw because he's so concerned that he might have hurt her or something like that, or she might be, I don't know. I know that's really dumb, but that's the kind of simp I want. I want the simp from the beginning, and I want a secret simp that turns out to be a real obvious simp. And this guy's just laughing at her as she's like skinned her knees and all of her belongings have, yeah. I don't know. But then I kept reading. That night, her friends, a couple of them who are, I think, evil and like part of his owners, it's giving Victoria and you know that guy without the shirt. They all go out. She's at the bar, she's talking, and then she sees him across the bar. And I will say, if there's no talking, I'm into it, because they're like eye-wetting each other. And he has this really hot friend and he's eye-wetting her. And I'm just like, wait a minute, where are we going here? Because I like this. They go outside to smoke. She goes outside to vape. She's mentioned vaping like 4 times at this point. We're on chapter 8. And guys, this is when I start actually thinking that I might read the whole rest of this as soon as possible. She's trying to be nonchalant, vaping. Sorry. And she hears a voice from behind her. Are you just gonna stand there and hope we bother you, Raylan? Or are you gonna come get what you want? It worked on me, okay? So then they start talking to her and he stopped being so annoying. Maybe he's showing off to his hot friend. But I like in this scene, he's talking about it as if it's a game, although he calls her sport, not a good sport, that she is good sport, like she's going to be hunted. Anyway, he says like, do you want to play? Or do you want to leave? So he gives her like a consensual option and she says that she's into it, that if she asks him to stop, will he do it? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Which I can see how that's gonna come out, that he's gonna be like a really fair kind of lover. Is that a weird thing to say? I just realized I'm putting this on the internet. I really hope my foster mom isn't watching, because he has been, held against his will for, it sounds like, a long fucking time. And so he would definitely like respect her consent. And that's all I really need in a romance, especially a dark romance where like this kinky shit is happening. But like, I do like to see some consent here, but still have it be sexy. And then he proceeds to, I'm just gonna read her sentence here. I'm gonna have to bleep out a word because I would like to monetize this, okay? Also, if you have children, you might want to put your headphones in. I'm sorry. Someone said that to me once in a Instagram DM and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. They're in the alleyway behind this bar and he, I don't even know if I can say this and look at you. She says, oh my God, what was I doing? I was about to let a near stranger finger fuck me in an alleyway and all I could think was, yes, God. And like, he's a demon. I don't know. It was fun. And he wasn't mean, but he was like in charge, I don't know. I feel like I'm not usually this shy talking about smut to you guys, but I think because I know my foster mom watched my last video that like I'm scared she's watching this one. So now she's in my head. So I actually need to go take a shower. I think as soon as it said demon, she probably clocked out. She's like, Allie, you need to go to church. Guys, I only worked 45 minutes today. And now I get to read my silly little book. It's literally still dark out. Well, actually, no, it's not. I should open the windows.
Clear nights when all the haze gets washed away. Smooth flights to Cabinet's Marvel escape. From the back to the front, from the ground, going up and I feel something. Like the sky, hold the light, let it shine till my heart starts to say something. Stay, blackberry days, blooms on the right.
Alright y'all, I'm switching to this mic because they're trimming all the trees right around my apartment and I'm so sorry if you can hear any of that, or my little fan here which by the way is blowing crisp Arctic air at me. I don't know why it's so strong today, feels wonderful. I'm officially 50% of the way through this book. Last night I got to 35%, and when I tell you I was so giddy, this is so fun and fast paced. It's even kind of creepy at times, like actually creepy in the home invasion kind of ways, particularly. Like she's looking around in the middle of the night and she looks outside. This bitch keeps her blinds open. What? She sees like a figure staring at her. Which, does that sound familiar, anyone? And yes, the Twilight references have kept rolling in, and I am locked in. Like, this is 1020% a Twilight fanfiction. My evidence. Also, I'm so sorry if you hate Twilight and you want me to shut up about it. I'm almost done. But will I ever be done? First of all, there's like eye changing of colors. There's a scene where she's by herself in a creepy area. She hears tires screeching. A car whips up at her. A door opens and he says, "Get in." Does that sound familiar? And then she goes on a hike where they have a deep sorry, the word deep right now. Connection at like the peak of the hill. What? Okay, I need to get my mind out of the gutter because that was an innocent sentence, y'all. By the way, there was a steamy scene right there in a graveyard. I could like, that was the goofiest shit I've ever read, because not only was it like in a graveyard where anyone could just walk up, but also, do you ever have it where romance authors, they're trying to be so original, especially something that's been written about for literal centuries? And so they're pulling moves out here where you literally had to stop reading and like try to like geometrically figure out what's happening. It was goofy, funny. So yeah, last night I was having so much fun. I really didn't want to stop reading and go to bed. And that's just such a wonderful feeling, especially at my big old age. I don't get that feeling very often. So I thank this book for this. But today, the high is kind of worn off. And as I was reading, it started to get a little bit more sentimental, as books usually do, especially if they start off as like enemies. So I guess this is kind of enemies with benefits to lovers, which is one of my favorite romance tropes. And the only way to keep me going in those situations is if I love the characters and I love their connection. And while I think their connection is hot, and I actually kind of like underneath it all their dynamic, besides him being like 400 years old and she's, well, I mean, at least she's of legal age. Edward Cullen, like, go to jail. But the characters are so irritating to me, and it's almost funny. Like, it's not frustrating, it's hilarious. He continues to be so cringe. There's a scene where he's like escaping these bad people, and this 400-year-old being exits this way. Are you ready? Man, I highlight a lot in here. I vanish with a grin and 2 middle fingers up. Like, it's so goofy. And so I cannot take him seriously. Also, there's a part right now where he's basically obsessed with her. He hasn't said, like, love, because he's too dark to feel emotions, blah, blah, blah. Plus, they literally met, like, 3 days ago. But she's talking to him, and she says, God, what does she say? Did you kill all the demons? Because there's, like, these demon creatures coming after her that are stinky and therefore scary. And instead of answering her, he just mocks her, literally. "Oh, Leon, do something, save me, please, oh, please." He shot me a narrowed-eye glare and said mockingly, "Are you kidding?" Like, the rudeness, I would not be attracted to you. I'd be like, can you go back to middle school, little bitch? I hate mocking from other people. It's I just can't, no, that's not... Gag. And so while they're having these hot moments, I just can't take him seriously. I understand her because he's just hot, and what's a girl to do, you know? But she's also infuriating because these demon creatures will come to her house and he's like, whatever you do, do not go outside. I'm gonna get rid of them. He runs outside, a little demon about to kill a demon creature, like no big deal for him. What does this bitch do? She immediately runs outside, sprints outside, doesn't even like peek around. She runs outside. And he's repeatedly told her that this family who's held him captive are evil and have held him captive. And she's just like, nah. She believes that he's a demon, but like, can't believe this. What? Like, it's so annoying. And she's gonna trust them, and then, another reason why it was so fun last night was because that scene in the alleyway, I forgot that he was a demon, and she didn't realize it yet, and I forgot that she didn't know he was a demon, but we did. And so that was so much fun, her figuring out that he was a demon. On the back of the book, or in the synopsis, whatever, it says that she summons him, and she does, but she doesn't she thinks he's pranking her, and so it was really funny, her figuring this shit out. There was a lot of anticipation in that, and that was like Like, I literally had to stop myself from spoiling how they were going to react in their interactions. Like, I love that feeling. You know what's so funny though? In order for me to take him seriously and not roll my eyes, I have to imagine Damon saying the things that are coming out of his mouth. And then it is tolerable because I think Damon is hot, okay? And I love his sassy attitude. For some reason, Leon alone, it's just no, 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 no. But Damon, who I've known for years, like, I got to know him over literal years of episodes. So, like, I know that even his annoying traits, he's hot underneath and he's really sweet and he's a good brother. So that has actually helped a little bit. And it's so funny because this is kind of Damon Elena coded, because how many times has people said to Elena, don't go outside, you're a weak human. And she immediately goes outside and tries to fight a centuries old vampire with her mortal being and is immediately... So when I read it like that, it's kind of funny. But I am getting to a point right now where I can see that I'm going to stop having fun, especially if I binge the rest of it, because I'm at 50%. I really do think this author is going to write a really cool action scene, maybe a couple. She's got that creepy vibe down, like really, really great. And I think there's going to be some weird, dark shit. And I am excited to read that, but I really don't need to see them bang again. And I know that's just what's going to keep coming. And it's so funny because when a book like this has some really cool, dark stuff going on in the background and pretty good action sequences, and then they throw in a sex scene, it just doesn't make sense. Because what do you mean that these dark creatures are trying to attack you at all hours of the day? This family is out to kidnap you and you're getting banged on your kitchen table. Sorry. Anyway. What else did I write in my notes? Oh, Leon sort of has a little emo side. He says at one point that he's only seen so much darkness that he doesn't even know where to look for the light or something like that. And for me to take that seriously, I had to think of Damon, because Damon is a little sad boy. B-O-I. And I was able to take it with him because, like, Damon. But when Leon said it, I had to roll my eyes. So then when I pictured Leon as Damon, it made me okay with it. It's just funny what readers do to have to get through some shit. Oh my god, Damon? The funny thing is though that he's a demon, but like, is he really? Because what can he do besides to make his tongue into a slit to please his woman? Like, is he a demon or is this just all talk? Like, he's hanging around our house in gray sweatpants. I don't think so. Also, a pet peeve of mine is when a book is set at a school, whether like a boarding school, this happens a lot, or a college setting. I've never seen this girl in a classroom, so why did you set it at college? Is it just because you wanted her to be that age, or you didn't want her to have the hassle of a job? I think that might be it. But if you tease me with an academic setting and you don't give me academics, I personally am going to be pissed off. But I'm not yet, because this has been so fun. So I'm going to keep reading it on my own. Keep an eye out for my wrap up. I'm going to start doing those again every month. I'm gonna try, because I think this will be a fun one to read, like a chapter a day after work to like get my energy back up or put me to sleep at the end of the night, depending on where we are. I would like to see though, sorry, I'm gonna bring up Twilight one more time. God, you want to slap me, I'm so sorry. I want to see where we are at right now in this book, where it would be in the Twilight book, because like the pacing I think is about to turn glacial. Un momento. That smells so fucking good. Oh, can you even hear me? Sorry, I forgot I was using a mic. I was saying that I thought we were much further along in the Twilight plot if we're following this as fan fiction, but we're actually only 2/3 of the way through. And here we're halfway through. So that actually fits a little bit more, but also 50% more. My god. Of course, there's always a chance that like the setup is fan fiction and then the author will hopefully go off on their own and do something really cool. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. Don't spoil anything, because I probably will not have finished it by the time I put this out, because I'll have been editing this video. But let me know if the ending is worth it. You can tell me that. I do want to finish another book. It's funny because if I were just reading on my own, like I have been the last 3 months, it would not bother me at all to set this down right now and just chalk it up to a good time. But now I feel like I need to finish something. So let me see something that I could finish today, like a very short book. The problem is that most of my short books are very pretentious and very literary and are hard to get through because there's just so much meat in those tiny little books. So let's take a gander, shall we? Oh my god, is this the time? I think this would be doable, right? It's not too complicated. It smells good. Okay, I think we're gonna do it. Now, this is at one point a 5-star prediction. I'm lowering my expectations. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 4-star, okay? Let's see if that holds up to it. You know what? I don't wanna push my luck. Let's say it's a 3.5, because that means it'll have been a fun time. Okay, let's go. Very quick update, I'm only on page 14, but I am obsessed. I am so confused, but I am giggling. Do I have any idea what's happening? No. Do I like it? Yes.
I miss you so much that I can feel it in my spine. And in my mind, I wish that you were dreaming right next to me another night. Oh, you're something familiar. Oh, I need something familiar.
I'm halfway through, and what do you mean this is the most romantic book I've ever read? I simply cannot deal. Also, this copy is going to the grave with me, and no one's allowed to read it but me. Because my annotations, when I annotate, I'm just underlining shit and writing LOL. Also, I just saw this TikTok the other day.
Laugh out loud.
This is me. But this one has me going like, I can't, in little asterisks, and stop. I can't deal with it. I simply can't. It is just... When people describe that they want like a book of yearning, this is what I mean. I know we're all different, but like this is my kind of yearning over centuries, over millennia, over time. So basically, these two women they sort of work for time. That's how I'm trying to put it in my mind. They're kind of like gods, but in my opinion, the only god in this book is time. Because they talk about how the people over centuries worship different gods that they create, but like the only thing that's actually ending or saving them is them. These sort of soldiers. Red seems rather militant. I'm very confused as to what the fuck they're doing and who the fuck is like sending them on these missions. Their missions are sometimes to eradicate an entire population. Sometimes it's to save a city from burning from a volcano so that they can save information that's going to help like the greater good over the spans of time. But also sometimes it seems like they're just fucking around and like for the sake of fucking around, or maybe I just don't understand a few things, which is definitely true. There's a lot of referencing history because we're going through so much geographic and I don't even know how to say this sentence, I'm so stupid. Over the spans of so much time and place that there's so many things going over my head, which makes it so more exciting that I get to reread this for the rest of my life. Some of the history or geographical whatever, I'm just like, okay, get back to the yearning. But like right now, this is a 5-star and this better not disappoint me. I will just end myself. That's a joke. But honestly, even if the last half of this is somehow complete shit, this first half of it, I will be rereading like every day. I have been underlining, like whoever's speaking, I underline in either red or blue, and sometimes together if like there's some sort of overlap, and I've just been non-stop underlining. You can't stop me, although maybe you couldn't even see any of that. Basically, each chapter is a mission that these two are on. We get like one point of view and then a letter that the other sends to them, and then we get the other point of view. Did that make sense? Also, I'm sorry if you can hear all that noise. I thought they had stopped. My bad. But because of their work or because of what they're doing, also, are they not... I'm so confused about who they're working for, because if it's just time, then aren't they working with each other? Why is it a war? I don't understand. Like, who is the opposing factor? I just don't get it. But that's okay. But because of the nature of their jobs, they really don't interact with too many people. They go on missions sometimes where they're literally like married to someone, but they don't know that they're kind of like a spy. Sometimes they'll be like an animal. And so it's very lonely. And they see each other as like rivals at first. And that's how the letters kind of start, as very flirtatious rivalry, because they're just fucking bored. And then it quickly gets more flirtatious. And now it's really getting into like, you're the only person in my fucking life, like my soulmate shit. I kind of miss the more flirty, punny banter, but also like this is one of the only exceptions I have where it goes from fun and playful to sentimental, and I'm still eating it up. Because the intensity, also sometimes I get annoyed with how intense people are, but like this is so intense for no reason and all the reasons. Am I even making sense? Sometimes I wonder, like in the middle of whatever I'm saying, like what exactly am I saying? Like what is the purpose of this video anyway. They write these letters in, they're not always like an actual piece of paper because they don't want to get in trouble by like conspiring with the enemy. Again, who is the enemy? Who do they work for? Who the fuck knows? So they'll put like a letter in a piece of bird poop, is the one I just read, or in a teacup, or in a whisper, or in like lava. All these random shits, literal shit sometimes. And then they have to destroy it. The first letter I started my goo goo gaga-ness about. I'm obsessed because listen to this. Blue leaves this letter for Red and the letter says to destroy before reading or something like that. And then in order for Red to actually read it, she has to somehow go back in time and like put it in her memory. Again, I don't understand, but Blue says, I must tell you, it gives me great pleasure to think of you reading these words. Your eyes unable to work backwards, unable to keep the letters on a page. Instead, you must absorb them, admit them into your memory. In order to recall them, you must seek my presence in your thoughts. That shit works so well on me. This shit, I swear to God. At the end of every chapter, it is like the other person finding the other person's letter and they absorb it and then they leave and discard whatever they had of how that letter was made, whether it be poop or like strings, feathers, etc., etc. And at the very end of each paragraph, there's a seeker who comes and tries to collect as much as they can of the evidence of that letter. And at first, I was thinking it was the other one coming and finding it so that they can keep it forever. But now I'm wondering if there's a third party involved. I don't know. I am laughing at this description though. In Blue's point of view, oh my God. Blue finds Red's letter in some sort of like creature, I don't know, that is attacking her. So Blue kills it. She sees the note. It says she's kept her gloves clean while killing all these other beasts for the most part, but now she stains them red as a name. And then she like disembowels the animal and takes its fur, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, that was a little gross. But she leaves and then the seeker comes by. Listen to this shit. If this isn't smut, tell me what is. When the seeker comes hard and fast on her trail. Come on. All that's left is a smear of dark red on blue snow. I love that. On hands and knees, she licks and sucks and chews until all the color's gone. This is smut. And you know what's never gonna get old? Even if they continue to do this in every single chapter and in every single letter, they yearn for each other so much that they go out of their way to like look at different things that have their color, their person's color. Red rarely sleeps, but when she does, she lies still, eyes closed in the dark, and lets herself see lapis, tastes iris petals and ice, hears a blue jay's shriek. She collects blues and keeps them. Anyway, I am fangirling so hard and I want to immediately start this from the beginning and start it over because I just love them so much. And they even said like, what if we were partnered up or like set in the same place for the same mission and we were able to talk to each other and see each other every day? And Red says, I think I'd still write letters even then. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It gives me goosebumps just quoting this book. I can't. I love this so much and I'm so glad because I've heard this, you know what's weird? I've heard both 5 stars and like 1 star ratings for this book, but I've always imagined that I would love it and I am just so happy that it's true. This is the kind of book where I'm so fucking pissed at myself that it's been sitting on my shelf for years. Also, Meredith, I think you gave this to me. Bestie! I'm literally so happy right now. I think I need to calm down.
Like the end of an old teenage movie where the cast all go home to bed and they lay down in their bedrooms with the stars glowing above. It's like a video game, a 90s video game, a fuzzy memory dying over again.
I mean, this is a 5-star. I can't believe this has just been sitting on my shelf. Like, I actually want to smack myself. This was everything I ever want in a book. It's confusing in the best possible way. It's over dramatic as fuck. It's so deeply romantic that it's like oozing Allie out of it. This is just so good, and it's reminding me of a few things that I love. Arya in Game of Thrones, her and her many faces, like, are you kidding me? The time traveling obviously reminds me of one of my first loves, The Time Traveler's Wife, specifically how it was very confusing to me when I read this. I was like 14, but still. How it's not really told in a chronological way. There are 2 point of views, but also they're at different ages experiencing different things, but then you see them in every scene, so it's like you can't tell if he's already seen that but she has experienced it, or he's told her about it in the future, but it's his past. I love that kind of confusion. But I also love when something happens in the beginning and then it makes sense a little while later, and then you go back and you're like, oh my god, it happened a few times in here just with their letter writing. The second half was actually a lot more plotty than I thought it was going to be. I was not, seeing where this was going, which is something else I love when I don't know what's coming. Usually I don't like a big shift, but this one, it made a lot of sense. And also, I would have loved it if they were just sappy to each other the entire time and nothing actually happened. Actually would have eaten that up, but this was great. They also talked a little bit more about how they are essentially rivals, something I highlighted. Also, can we talk about the first 25% of this? I was like, oh my gosh, this would be such a fun one to have tabs for each color of who's like talking. I think I highlighted multiple things on every single page. Like, I don't think that's an exaggeration. This is what every page looks like, pretty much. And it just kills me because in some books, when they're this dramatic, I'm kind of rolling my eyes and like laughing at them because it's funny, but I'm still enjoying myself. Or I can really like the writing, but still think it's dramatic. This was dramatic. I like the writing, but I was in it. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it. And it's funny because I think I was looking for a quote. I can't even remember what I was talking about a second ago, so let's move on. I did look up some reviews on Goodreads, and I was looking specifically at what the people who gave it a lower rating. A lot of them said it was a very confusing setting, and I will definitely give it that. This was the kind of book where I had to stop asking questions, and I just had to keep reading, and it didn't quite make sense in the end, like why or what, but also it did. It was more like a feeling than like specifics. And it was also kind of hard to imagine the settings because they were so grand in scope. They were either otherworldly and I had a hard time picturing it, or it was such at a great scale that it was hard to picture, and they were flipping to different settings every single chapter. So it was like, wow, my brain is really having to work here. I found it fun, but I'm sure it could be pretty exhausting, especially if you're not buying into the love interests or into the love story, which was another thing I saw. People were like, well, why do they even like each other? And you know what? I kind of agree. I think it's just the fact that they were writing letters that makes this so dramatic and like teen angsty, which is something I also sometimes make fun of. Even in like the last book I read in my last vlog, I was like, this is emo. Like, this is emo. I'm emo. Oh my god. And I'm not going to lie to you, the cynical part of me is like, when these two stop writing and actually meet up, they're gonna get the ick. They're gonna be like, so... Anyway, I gotta go. That's the avoidant in me talking. I used to have these like eye crushes, this is what I called them, and this is a little weird to admit, but also I cannot be the only one who did this. In like high school or even college, there'd be these people that I'd have crushes on. Either they were just cute or I felt a vibe. I felt this magical soulmate experience with, and I would like glance at them and they would glance at me. There's nothing better to me like what letter writing and words to these two glances are to me. And so I would literally sustain myself on these glances that I would have with these people. And the longer it went on, the more like yearning it felt like. Like a whole semester goes by and every single day we glance at each other. No. That's true love. What are you talking about? The funny thing is, my avoidant ass would have a field day anytime one of them would actually open their mouth to me. The second that they spoke to me, I would get so mad in my head. Obviously, I was nice to them, but I would literally scream in my head, like, why the fuck did you have to ruin that? And I would never look or talk to them again. And I just wonder, because I think it's easier to like express yourself, well, at least for me, through letters or through text, through Facebook posts, that kind of thing. I'm thinking back to high school again, I'm sorry. But then when you get in front of each other, sometimes you are, this has nothing to do with the book, why am I talking about this? But I'm on a roll, baby, let's go. Sometimes when you're letter writing, you're almost talking to yourself. You're almost talking to like a fantasy version of something that you are fantasizing about. So it is kind of like a weird version of yourself. Is that a narcissistic sarcastic thing to say. But then when you're actually in front of a human being, you're like, oh shit, I know nothing about you, and like I have no control over you, and you can do whatever you want. And as I grew up and I learned to be less avoidant, obviously I found the beauty in that as well. And obviously why I got married, because this person suddenly didn't do a fucking thing I thought I wanted. And I loved it. And so I'm hoping for the best for them. And I truly am am I suspending my disbelief, my belief? I'm believing in them. I think it's also that they're such isolated beings that any interaction with someone is gonna make them fall in love. And while yes, that's like, well, then it could have been anyone, but it wasn't. It was just them. What else did I write in my little notes? Oh, I put, if you want to flirt with me, leave a message in the trees for 10 years that took centuries to write that I'm only gonna read for like 10 minutes. That's what flirting is. Come on. Oh, and then the acknowledgements literally had me crying. That's when I know it's a 5-star. When an author's note or acknowledgements make me tear up. Finally, dear reader, we dedicated this one to you, which I showed you in the beginning of this part of this section of the vlog, and we meant it. Books are letters in bottles cast into the waves of time from one person trying to save the world to another. Keep reading, keep writing, keep fighting. We're all still here. I'm sorry. I think I'm hormonal. I did have one more like quote that was very smutty. Sorry. Like that's all I can talk about, but it was funny, okay? I enjoy finding smut in things that are not smut. Sorry. Anything where they talk about hunger actually floors me over. I can't. Okay. I found it. Sorry, there was actually a lot. Also, I'm finding that most of the stuff I underlined was smut that was not actually smut, but I thought was smutty. My dear sugar maple, we're tapping the trees, boiling sap down for syrup and hard candy in whatever universe and situation this is. I like you to know, with my words in your mouth, the places and ways in which I think of you. Sorry. It feels good to be reciprocal. Eat this part of me while It gets worse, but better. Eat this part of me while I drive reeds into the depth of you. Spill out something sweet. Excuse me? I literally wrote, pardon? This was Blue, and Blue went on to say, I wish sometimes I could be less fierce with you. That this would be better served by tenderness, by gentle kindness, like this letter writing. Instead, I write of spilling out your sap guts with reeds. Instead, I write of spilling out your sap guts with reeds. I put LOL. But yeah, anytime they talked about hunger, which is like what I love in a vampire book, and now that I'm like nearing the end of this vlog, this is the end. I don't even know how much footage we have here. I'm scared. None of these are vampire books, technically, but like what I loved in them, I love in vampire books, which is just so funny to me, and I really would like to study this. I don't know if you saw this video 100 years ago, but I'm in my vampire era, and even when I'm not reading vampire books, I'm reading vampire books. We have a monster who likes the thought of eating people, but also has maybe magical blood, I don't know. We have literal vampire fan fiction, but also intense, all obsessive love, and we have people living centuries. Oh, this one too, although he didn't really give me much, of people traveling and experiencing so many different things and so many different people and knowing so much history and going into that. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Plus, every time they said hunger, I had to hide my grin because I thought, vampire, 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 vampire. Also, all of them kind of dealt with immortality. Wait. Sorry, I'm getting so excited and hot. I need to like calm down. Anyway, I have got to wrap this up, but I will say that I have not had this fun with all of my reads in a vlog in so long, and I am going to love watching this in the years to come, I'm sure. Maybe this will be cringe, yikes. But I look forward to rereading at least these over and over again, and the memory of how much and how I wanted to read this and stay up and how much fun I was having in all three of these is definitely going to stay. It's going to be a seed in my mind. Also, both of these had like seeds in them. This one had some seed in it too. Okay, I should probably go and edit this, but thank you so much for watching, for hanging out with me. Obviously, let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if the ending is worth it. I probably will read it anyway. And also, if you ever have like a differing opinion to mine, let me know. I'm a Gemini. I find that very fun, so please don't be shy. All right, I should go. I'll see you later. Goodbye.